Sorry. Sorry if it makes you mad. Sorry, not sorry. It's Savannah, and I've had several comments on the equipment I use when I'm riding, and so I figured I would just do a little video series on some of the equipment I use when I ride my dressage horse, because I've had a lot of questions about it and concerns about it, and a lot of the time I just feel people have been misinformed or not educated on some of the equipment I use, and so instead of like going and finding the answer of why, they just are asking why, they'll just call me a bad person or assume that I'm hurting my horse. So I just made this video to educate you guys on what I use and why I use what I use, and it's on controversial dressage tack basically. And so I'm using like I'm going to be talking about real dressage equipment, like the double bridle, spurs, and the whip. I'm not going to talk about side reins, the draw reins, all that other stuff. I don't want to talk about that. Those are all gadgets. I want to talk about the real equipment. So, in this video, I'm not going to be defending the sport of dressage. I'm not going to be defending what I use. I just want to explain to you guys what I use and why I use it, because I am a firm believer in, if you have a piece of equipment that you use, you need to know why you're using it. You don't need to just use it for the heck of it and because it's the fad, or you think it looks cool, or because, you know, some person that doesn't really know what they're talking about tells you to use it, or some YouTuber uses it. Don't use it just because they use it. You need to have a purpose. This needs to be intentional. So, again, I'm not defending professionals. I'm not defending the sport of dressage. I'm not defending myself. I'm just educating you guys on what I use and why I use it. That's all it is. So today, I'm going to be talking about the double bridle. A lot of people are scared of the double bridle, which is fine. I have a high respect for this bridle because it can hurt. It can be bad. In the wrong hands, this could be a very harsh thing. So basically all it is you've got two bits in your horse's mouth. You've got your bradoon, which is just your normal Snapple, and then you have your curb bit, which is just, there's no brakes. A lot of times they'll have a little port here, or tongue relief, and you know, you have a chain, and you have like a little shank on it. And a lot of people I've found are misled to think that dressage runners use these bits, these curb bits and the double bridle in order to make their horses round. So by the time you get to third level, your horse should have not even a basic, like a good understanding of what collection is and what you're asking for in it. And you don't need help getting your horse round. The collection just pretty much does it for you. So I hate that people feel that way, and there are, I mean, I'll be the first to tell you, I'm a dressage rider. There are dressage riders out there that do use these bits, these curb bits for that. I mean, they do. And it's unfortunate, and just like any sport, they abuse, there's a part of it that there's always parts and people that abuse certain equipment and get a bad rep for the sport. It's no different here. There are people that abuse these things, which is really unfortunate, but it just kind of is what it is. And so, I've got one not attached to a bridle because the bridle's heavy. I don't want to hold it up. So, with these bits, they are not meant to be hung on, okay? Your bradoon, which is your Snapple, you should be riding in your Snapple just like you normally ride. All this is this just to help little minutia things and finesse some of your movements. Basically, all it does is just helps you encourage the horse to collect more. That's all it is. More collection so you can do movements like piaffe and passage, so you can start doing half steps. That's all it is. And you should not rely solely on this to be able to achieve that collection. I personally ride my horse only once a week in the double bridle to get used to handling it and for my horse to get used to having it in her mouth, because it is a lot of hardware in a horse's mouth. and it's a lot of like potentially hurtful hardware in a horse's mouth. So you just have to be very respectful and very mindful of your horse and the feedback it's giving you. So like with Betty, I don't even touch the curb rein. Like I don't, like I can't. Just the weight alone, she's like, oh, what is this? And she already is kind of like, oh, and she sits more because she kind of puffs up a little bit. So with these curb bits, all it is you are not supposed to go past a 45-degree angle with these bits. So that's this far. If you're going past this, you've got a problem. You need to go back and you need to school more in the snaffle. You don't need to be using this bit. So, you know, sometimes you'll see pictures of riders using the bit like this, or like, you know, and heaven forbid, I haven't seen someone do it like this, but I'm sure there's someone out there. And that tells me that you're using this as a band-aid, because these can be used as a band-aid to cover up holes in the training. And I personally, I want to be able to do every single movement in the snaffle and then be able to do it in the turn around and be able to do it with the double on. And that's just me personally. I've been trained, or I've been working with a trainer that is super classical. Everything's super, super classical, which isn't always the style now. Some, especially people who show a lot, tend to like to take shortcuts and kind of like, I don't want to say cheat, but just basically take shortcuts the way through, because it does. It takes a very long time to be able to properly train a dressage horse. I mean, it does. It takes a long time, and that's a lot of patience you have to have. So, when you use these curb bits, so you use your little, you got your 45-degree angle, and all this does is just encourages the horse to like lift its pole up, and in turn, lift its withers up, which basically adds more collection, because basically the purpose is to get the horse to sit on his haunches more and use his haunches more. Because if you think about a horse, 60% of their weight is on the front end, because they have their neck and their head. So like shoulders up, like shoulders and withers up, that's 60% of the weight. 40% is on the back end. So when you, like, this is the front end, this is the back end. So in dressage, you're basically doing this. You're teaching the horse to shift all that weight on the front end and kind of put it on the back end and work their hind end more. That's pretty much what collection is in a nutshell. I'm sure there's a ton of people out there that are like, oh my gosh, what are you saying? But that's just kind of like that's the purpose. And so you, in dressage, you know, you basically improve the overall obedience of the horse. You want to be able to control every little bit. So all this does is it just helps add a little more collection to be able to accomplish things like half steps, piaffe, passage, pirouettes, and even in the extensions. It helps you get them up a little bit more in the extensions. As long as my vet, my chiropractor, my dentist, my farrier are like, yep, you're good, you're doing good, then I'm just going to keep on going regardless of what everyone thinks about me using this equipment. I mean, that's just me personally. So in a nutshell, I will use the double bridle as a means of encouraging my horse to collect more, encouraging her to get on, or to rock back a little more and get on her hind end a little more and work from her butt forward a little more. These bits aren't necessarily bad. It all depends on what you're using them for and who's using them. They can be very helpful and educational to a horse's dressage education, but they can also be super abusive. There are dressage riders that abuse them, unfortunately, and it does kind of give us all a bad rep. But just like any horse sport, there's always going to be those few people that just, you know, wreck it for everyone else. So I just want to make this little video just to kind of give you guys a little like what's up with why I'm using it, what I'm using it for. I highly encourage you guys to go and research things like this, like questions you have about the double bridle from unbiased resources and like legitimate educational resources. Don't take every single YouTuber's opinion as like, this is what it is and that's it. Like even mine, please go research, go do your research, and be sure to ask me any questions you have about the double bridle in the comments below, and I'll be sure to drop a link in my description to a really good website that focuses on traditional classic dressage, and it explains all sorts of equipment, gadgets, the uses for everything, and it's called sustainabledressage.net, and I'll be sure to put it in my description, and I highly encourage you guys to read up on that. It's a really, really good reference for you just to look at, like for pretty much any dressage equipment. I don't even think I've ever seen anything that I haven't found on that website. So I highly encourage you guys to go to it And be sure to let me know any questions you have, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!